In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous speech, "I Have a Dream," on Washington, in front of thousands of people. In his speech, he demanded freedom, jobs, and end of racial segregation. With this single speech, Martin Luther King persuaded thousands of people to join his movement. He inspired millions of people to join the civil rights movement and advocate for racial equality. You might be confused why I'm telling you this story. Well, it is because Martin Luther King Jr., apart from being a great leader, was a master of persuasion. People were ready to do anything for him. Like Martin Luther King Jr., we can also persuade others and make them do what we say. We might not persuade millions of people, but at least we can make people within our surroundings to agree on our requests. It could be anything like telling someone to grab a cup of coffee for you, or making them buy the product that you are selling. Imagine you can make anyone do exactly you wish them to do. Wouldn't it be nice to have this ability? The good news is you can develop this ability. There are some scientifically proven theories which you can apply in your life and make others do exactly as you say. I recently read this amazing book called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, and it taught me a lot of theories of persuasion. Once you know all these theories, analyze why some people behave the way they do in certain situations. You will be surprised how accurate these theories are. So without any delay, let's begin the summary. After 1,000 years of survival, human brains have developed shortcuts that helps them to take the quick decisions. Scientists who study how animals behave in nature have noticed that many animals tend to act in predictable ways, almost like they're following a set of script. Whether it's humans or animals, these automatic behaviors usually kick in because of one particular thing in the situation. This one thing is called trigger feature, which helps us to make quick decisions. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see a traffic light turn red. What would you do? Without needing to think too much, you automatically stop walking because you know it's not safe to cross the street when the light is red. The red light is the trigger feature in this situation. The presence of the red light triggers your decision to stop, helping you stay safe without having to analyze other factors like incoming traffic or the time left on the pedestrian signal. Most of the time, when someone asks us to do something, we tend to react automatically without thinking too much. We have certain things that trigger us to say yes to requests, like if we trust the person or if the request seems reasonable. These triggers can be used to influence people and make them more likely to agree on our request. So, let's start the summary. One time, Arthur was walking down the street when a young boy, about 11 or 12 years old, approached him. He said,
"Hi, I am Jim. Would you like to buy a ticket of annual Boy Scouts circus for $5 each?"
But Arthur denied, saying, "No, I'm sorry." Then the boy asked,
"Would you buy chocolate bars instead, which is only $1 each?"
With a bit confused mind, Arthur said, "Okay, I will buy a couple of chocolate bars." After a moment, Arthur realized he never liked chocolate bars, but still he was holding 2 of them, and the boy had left with 2 of his dollars. Arthur started to think why he bought the chocolate bars even when nobody forced him to. To figure out this, he gathered his research assistants. They talked about the situation and realized that the reciprocity rule was in play. Reciprocity rule says, when someone does something for us, we feel like we should do something for them in return. That's why Arthur felt like he has to buy the chocolate bars, because the scout boy first tried to sell him a $5 ticket to the circus. When the author said no to the ticket, the boy offered a cheaper option, a $1 chocolate bar. Since the boy lowered his pricing and offer, Arthur felt like he should also do something for the boy. When someone does something nice for us, we often feel like we should do something nice for them in return. Some people use this rule to their advantage by giving us something before asking for a favor. This tactic works because the reciprocity rule is very powerful. Think about your birthday. If your friends come to you with gifts, cakes, and celebrates with you before asking for a birthday party, wouldn't it be hard for you to reject them? Reciprocity rule, when applied, makes us feel obligated to say yes, and often people who know this use this tactic. The second tactic of persuasion is the theory of liking. We're often influenced by people we like, such as our friends and family members, but what might surprise us is that this liking can extend to people we've never really known or met. If you can make people like you, it will be easier to pursue them to do something. So how can you make them like you? Fortunately, there are many things that you can do. First of all, you can work on your physical attractiveness. Research shows that attractive people have an advantage in social situations. People often have a quick automatic reaction to attractive individuals. This reaction is called a halo effect, where one positive characteristic of a person influences how we see them in other ways. For example, if someone is good-looking, we tend to assume they also have other positive traits like talent, kindness, honesty, and intelligence. The second way to make people like you is by finding the similarity between you and the other person. I'm sure you've experienced this principle for yourself many times. We find it much more difficult to say no when a request comes from our friends. You can make somebody like you by using a few simple techniques. Be around them to create a feeling of familiarity. Point to similarities between you. Mirror their behavior. Do small favors for them, and show that you like them. The third way to make people like you is by giving them compliments. We like people who praise us. People like it even when they know it's partially fake. Imagine how much they like it when you genuinely praise them. The fourth way is contact and cooperation. We often don't realize that how we feel about something can be affected by how many times we've seen it before. For example, in a study about online ads, people were shown banner ads for a camera either 5 times, 20 times, or not at all. The more times they saw the ad, the more they ended up liking the camera. This same principle works while meeting the people. We like people who we see regularly. The fifth way is conditioning and association. The association principle says that if we can be linked to success in any way, even if it's just through something like where we live, then our reputation should improve in the eyes of others. Have you ever noticed how fans celebrate a home team win by getting on TV and shouting, "We're number one," instead of saying, "They're number one"? Using "we" makes it seem like they're closely connected to the team and part of the victory. You can make people like you more by connecting yourself with good things, values, and people on purpose. This helps you look better and probably more liked by others. In short, the theory of liking says that if you want others to do what you ask, first get them to like you. When someone likes you, it's easier to control them and get them to do what you want. The third tactic of persuasion is social proof. The idea of social proof says that when we're not sure what to believe or do, we look at what other people are doing in that situation. This can influence our decisions in many areas of life, like what to buy, where to visit, or which charity to donate to. Social proof can make us more likely to go along with a request if we see that lots of other people are doing the same thing. Do you remember when COVID-19 first started spreading? Most people were confused about how to stay safe. Gradually, people began using masks and PPE kits, and others followed. The same happened with vaccines. Many avoided them at first, but got vaccinated after seeing others do it safely. This shows that people look for social approval before making decisions. They observe and learn from others. If you want to persuade others, you can use social proof. For example, if you want to sell your product, show them happy customers who bought it. Create social examples and it will be easier to persuade them. Now that we understood social proof, let's move on to another tactic of persuasion. Authority. What is this tactic and how can you use it? Let's understand this with an example. In an experiment, researchers wanted to see how they could get wealthy people, like investment bankers, to donate more to the charity. They tested different ways to encourage bankers to give a whole day's salary to charity. Some bankers got a normal letter asking for the donation, and only 5% donated. But another group got a visit from a famous celebrity who supported the program, and 7% donated. A third group got a gift of sweets from a volunteer when they entered the building, and then were asked to join the program, and 11% donated. Another group got a letter from their CEO saying the program was important to the bank, and it generated 12% compliance. A final sample got a blend of the reciprocity and authority influence principles, the gift of sweets from a volunteer, plus the CEO's personalized letter. Compliance soared to 17%. From our childhood, we are taught to do what our seniors' authorities tell. These senior authorities could be our parents, teachers, police, managers, office boss, etc. So we follow what they say. Our brain thinks that if we do not follow their order, we will be hit with bad results. This might not be always true, but that's how our brain is developed. So if you want others to do what you say, developing authority on them can be one of your strategy. The final tactic of persuasion that I'm sharing today is scarcity. You might have heard about the ban of the books in some online games. Ideally, after the ban, book readers and players of the banned games should have decreased, but many times you might have seen the impact creating opposite results. Why does this happen? Often, people become more curious about the things that has been banned or prohibited. You might have noticed the hike in sales when sellers put their products in limited offer. People are more likely to buy items that comes in limited offer. If an item is rare or becoming rare, it is viewed as more valuable. You might also have observed when you prohibit something to the child, they do exactly what they are prohibited. If you say them don't eat the chocolate, that is what they would demand. In all these examples, prohibition and scarcity are the triggers of the decision-making mind of people. When we go back to the history of the humans, thousands of years back, there were shortage of things that was needed for the survival, like foods, shelter, and clothes. This scarcity created the attraction to these things on human brains. Even today, this attraction lives within us. We are attracted towards the things that is rare or hard to get. This is the reason why we take prompt actions to get things that is rare than to get things that is common. If you compare the same principle on your life, take an example of a car that is common and available everywhere to the car that is limited and special edition. You will automatically be interested on special edition. This is where the scarcity principle kicks in. You can also apply the same principle and make others do the things which they might not do in normal situations. With this, we have come to the end of the video. I hope you have learned a lot of valuable tips. If this video helped you, please do like it and comment down what you like the most. Subscribe the channel as I will be making more videos. See you soon.